sought to extend the nation's border to the Pacific, taking by force whatever territory stood in its way. This war has changed and shaped our world today, but its significance has been slowly deteriorating as our generations have progressed. We conducted several interviews to understand what the people of today know about this war. Why do you believe Mexico is?
Well, because we're so big, and because this was all Mexico's, but they crossed over and they wanted more, and we didn't let them, and then we took it all back. Pancho Villa was a rebel.
Oh, okay.
He was fighting against inside Mexico. He didn't like the Mexican people. I mean, he was a Mexican, but it was like a civil war.
Oh.
Them against each other.
Oh, okay.
He didn't like the way they ran the government, so he got his people and fought the Mexican government. Pancho Villa, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. Do you think the U.S. stole territories from Mexico?
Yes, I did, because we took it from the Indians, so we probably took it from Mexico.
And one more question. Who do you think won the Mexican? Oh, who do you think won the Mexican-American War, and why do you think so? So, U.S. won. And why do you think?
Well, because the reason, first of all, we won because we were smarter. You know, you guys came in with all your cannons to the Alamo, and you guys came and gave them a chance to get out because you guys wanted to, but they didn't know that we had other armies coming. But we just had to wait till the rest of our armies came, which was Sam Houston. Because we were getting beat over here in Alamo, in San Antonio. So once we got them, we diverted them to over there by Brett Bishop, and we snuck in on them. Yeah. But they didn't have a chance. We caught them asleep. Because only we won because we were smart.
That's a very good answer.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so what do you think about the Mexican-American War?
Mexican-American War. Is that when they took the country from us? No, that's not it.
Who do you think won?
The United States.
And
Yeah.
what do you think they gained from it?
Territory.
Which is
Texas, Laredo. I think that's Texas. New Mexico. So.
Do you think the U.S. stole the territories from Mexico?
Stop. You know, that's what they teach us in Mexico, but I guess they didn't. I think they took advantage of the opportunity, but they didn't really steal it. But, yeah.
Well, thank you, Mexican-American.
I was saying against Mexican Americans because of land, and it falls in line with what America nationalism and was at a time, and pretty much took land from areas that nowhere belonged to them, and it was a war aggression against Mexicanos.
So what do you think was the real cause of that war?
The real cause is that as America extended west and encompassed ideas of manifest destiny, Texas and Mexico was along the way, and it was a way for Americans, particularly white presidents at the time, to buy more land and more wealth.
And how would the future of the U.S. have changed if the Mexican-American War hadn't occurred?
I don't think it would have changed much. I think Mexico would still probably had issues like it has today. As it is, Mexico is still a very rich country. It owns a lot of resources, oil, and I think still probably wouldn't have changed as much unless Mexico being larger than that. But I don't. As far maybe I think as far as the United States, it would have probably been not as well off because of areas like California and Texas, who have, particularly Texas, who has a lot of oil, and California with its deep ports. So the ones that would have suffered would probably been Americans more than Mexico.
People today remember the war, but find it to be something with little significance of the past. All in all, this war has had a huge impact on our lives today.
The Mexican-American War marked the first U.S. armed conflict chiefly fought on foreign soil. After the annexation of Texas from Mexico, it was inevitable that the war wouldn't occur. Mexico viewed Texas as a rebel province, but to the U.S., this was a valuable piece for the expansion of the nation. Due to Mexico declining to meet with the U.S. envoy to discuss the matter of purchasing New Mexico and California, President Polk sent orders to General Taylor to protect the border from invasion from Mexico. However, the two had different beliefs as to where the border existed. Mexico believed Nueces River was the original border, while the U.S. saw the Rio Grande as a border for Texas. This dispute of where the border existed was one of the causes of the Mexican-American War. When a conflict with Mexican troops occurred, the U.S. took action as a declaration of war. The first battle of the war took place at Palo Alto. Mexican General Arista planned to lay siege of Fort Texas in hopes of drawing American General Taylor out in order to break the siege. However, Arista and his men couldn't maintain control after exchanging blows with the American artillery. For American President James K. Polk, during the war in the West, the object of the war was to acquire Mexico's northwestern territories, including California and New Mexico. When the war broke out, he sent an army westward under General Kearny to make sure those lands were in the American hands when the war ended. There were many small engagements in these contested lands, none of them very large scale, but all of them determined and hard fought. By early 1847, all Mexican resistance in the region was over. In September 1847, the Mexican-American War essentially ended when the American army captured Mexico City after the Battle of Chapultepec. In May of 1848, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was approved by both governments. The treaty stated that Mexico ceded New Mexico and California to the U.S. for $15 million and forgiveness of $3 million in debt. It also agreed that the Rio Grande would be the official border between the U.S. and Mexico.